Most people over 60 walk a dangerous line without even realizing it, believing they are only addressing a passing discomfort when, in reality, they may be permanently compromising their freedom. A recent and alarming study revealed something we need to face right now. The immediate relief you seek for that back, knee, or joint pain may be a direct ticket to a hemodialysis machine, transforming your independent routine into a hospital prison 3 times a week. It's tragic to think that substances freely sold in pharmacies, popularly treated as harmless or mere pain relievers for everyday aches and pains, are, in reality, the greatest silent enemies of kidney health in old age. You probably have this threat stored in your bedside drawer or bathroom cabinet right now, and with each pill ingested without due knowledge, you may be silently shutting down your body's vital filter, an injury that often shows no symptoms until it's too late to reverse the situation. In this video, I'm going to reveal exactly which 5 specific painkillers and anti-inflammatories, although they seem like good friends, drastically accelerate the loss of kidney function and can condemn you to organ failure. The natural aging of your kidneys reduces their filtration capacity and functional reserve, meaning they can no longer metabolize toxic substances with the same efficiency as a young 30-year-old body, turning a common dose into a fatal overload. My promise here is to deliver the necessary, foolproof knowledge so you can protect your kidneys, maintain your autonomy away from dialysis clinics, and discover safe ways to treat pain without sacrificing a vital organ. Before we begin this list that could save your life, I want you to reflect quickly on your routine. If you take any pain medication every week, write "me" in the comments below right now so I know if this content is really urgent for you. To understand the gravity of the situation, we first need to validate your reality. I know that living with chronic pain, whether it's osteoarthritis in the knee, arthritis in the hands, or that persistent lower back pain, is extremely debilitating and limits your life. Modern culture has taught us that for every discomfort, there's a magic pill at the pharmacy that solves the problem instantly. And it's natural that you seek this relief to be able to play with your grandchildren or take care of the house. The big problem, and here lies the mortal danger, is that a kidney damage caused by these medications is, in most cases, completely asymptomatic and silent, acting like a silent killer. Unlike the heart, which warns with chest pain, the kidneys don't hurt while they die. They can lose up to 90% of their function before you feel the first sign of nausea or swelling. By trying to cure back pain, you may be progressively shutting down your body's filtering system, which will inevitably lead to the accumulation of toxins in the blood, uncontrollable hypertension, and ultimately total dependence on hospital treatment. Here's where the science that the drug's leaflet doesn't clearly explain comes in. Your kidneys are fascinating organs that depend on a constant flow of blood to function. And to keep their blood vessels open and dilated, they produce substances called prostaglandins. When you take a common anti-inflammatory, its purpose is to block pain, but the side effect is that it also blocks the production of these prostaglandins, causing what we call vasoconstriction of the afferent arteriole. Imagine your kidneys are a garden that needs water, and the medicine is a strong hand squeezing the hose, cutting off the vital flow. Without enough blood and oxygen, the kidney tissue suffers ischemia and the cells begin to die, a process known as papillary necrosis. This is even more critical after age 40, as we enter a process of renal senescence, where we naturally lose about 1% of kidney function per year. A kidney that is 60 or 70 years old already has fewer nephrons, which are the filtering units, and overloading this already weakened organ with toxic chemicals is a perfect recipe for disaster. I'm not saying this to create panic, but rather to raise urgent awareness based on solid evidence, because analgesic-induced nephropathy is already considered one of the leading preventable causes of kidney failure worldwide. Studies indicate that a frightening number of elderly people consume anti-inflammatory drugs daily, without having the slightest idea that they are heading towards chronic kidney failure, transforming stable health into a medical emergency. The risk of acute kidney injury skyrockets in these users, and the situation becomes dramatic when we combine these analgesics with blood pressure medications, such as diuretics, forming what we call in medicine the dangerous triad. You need to understand that the body you inhabit today does not process drugs as it did 20 years ago, and insisting on indiscriminate self-medication is, unfortunately, a very high-stakes gamble, where the reward is momentary relief and the price can be your physiological freedom. Now that you understand the unseen gravity of the problem, we're going to be extremely practical and direct. I've prepared a detailed list of the 5 main culprits that are probably in your home, strategically organized so you'll never be caught off guard again. Pay close attention, because item number 2 is the most ignored by general practitioners, and item 5 is an explosive combination that I call a time bomb, capable of paralyzing your kidneys in a matter of days if you make the mistake of mixing them. For this protection to truly work, you can't skip any steps, as each medication acts differently, and the knowledge accumulated here will be your armor against hemodialysis. Let's build a shield for your health together, starting with the fundamental understanding that changes all the rules of the game. Before revealing the first name on the list, we need to disarm the dangerous mechanism of false security, which is the treacherous thought of, "I've always taken this medication and never had any problems." This phrase is the perfect trap because your body has changed, and the biological rules of 20 years ago no longer apply to your organism today. Renal aging is an inevitable physiological fact. Your kidneys naturally shrink and lose functional mass as the years go by, a process that doesn't warn you when it begins. What your body tolerated perfectly in your 30s or 40s, metabolizing and excreting effortlessly, may today represent a severe and irreversible aggression. Accepting that your physiology has changed is not a sign of weakness, but rather an act of intelligence and survival that allows you to adjust your choices to preserve what you value most. The scientific evidence behind this lies in the natural reduction of the glomerular filtration rate, GFR, which is basically the speed at which your kidneys can clean your blood. Imagine your kidneys are like a coffee filter you use every day. As the decades go by, the pores of this filter naturally become more closed, and its ability to pass liquid decreases. If you put a heavy load of toxins, which are medications, onto this aged and slower filter, it won't be able to cope. It will clog and overflow toxic substances back into your bloodstream. This accumulated dirt begins to poison you from the inside, silently, while you think you're just treating a headache. Understanding that your filter requires more delicate treatment now is the first step to avoid completely destroying it with the medication that comes next. The first name on our list is perhaps the most misleading of all, as it carries the reputation of being light and safe, being present in practically every purse and bathroom cabinet. Ibuprofen. Widely used for simple headaches or mild muscle discomfort, it is often consumed as if it were a harmless candy, but for the kidneys of a person over 60, its effect is devastatingly constrictive. When you ingest this pill, it acts quickly by reducing inflammation, but it exacts a high price by causing severe renal vasoconstriction. In simple terms, it's as if it suddenly tightens the arteries that feed your kidneys, suffocating the organ due to lack of blood. Continuous use, that little pill every day to cope with the routine, keeps your kidneys in a constant state of asphyxiation, preventing them from receiving the nutrients necessary to survive and filter impurities from your body. In the long term, ibuprofen can trigger a condition called interstitial nephritis, a chronic inflammation of the kidney tissues that irreversibly destroys the organ's structure. The practical instruction here is clear and urgent. You should limit the oral use of this medication as much as possible, reserving it only for extreme situations and never as a daily habit. An excellent alternative that spares your kidneys is to opt for topical therapies such as ointments, gels, or patches containing the active ingredient. They act directly on the site of pain, absorbing very little into the bloodstream and consequently do not overload the renal filtration system. If the pain is persistent, talk to your doctor about simple analgesics that do not have this aggressive anti-inflammatory mechanism, because the innocence of ibuprofen ends when your filtration rate begins to fall. But if this first item acts by suffocating, the next acts like a real electric shock to your system. This brings us to number 2, a giant in orthopedic prescriptions and a favorite of those suffering from acute back and joint pain, diclofenac. Known for its potency in taking pain away with a hand, it is frequently used in injectable versions or fast-acting tablets, but this potency hides a massive destructive power for aging kidneys. Diclofenac is highly nephrotoxic, acting as a direct chemical trauma to kidney cells. For an elderly kidney that already has fewer reserves, receiving a dose of this medication is like forcing an old engine to run at maximum speed without oil. In addition to harming the kidneys, it carries a double danger that many ignore. It significantly increases cardiovascular risk, raising the chances of heart attacks and strokes in those who are already predisposed, creating a perfect trap where you try to save your spine and end up compromising your heart and kidneys. Simultaneously, medical evidence indicates that the indiscriminate use of diclofenac is linked to cases of renal papillary necrosis, where parts of the kidney tissue literally die and detach, causing permanent damage that no dialysis can completely repair. This is a major warning for those who suffer from chronic back pain and resort to this medication whenever a crisis arises. The immediate relief it provides is, in fact, a loan with very high interest that your body will repay with its health. If you have a family history of kidney or heart problems, or if you are over 60, this medication should be approached with extreme caution and replaced whenever possible with strategies that do not put your vital organs at imminent risk. And if you think these two are dangerous, you need to see what the number 3 medication, extremely popular in Brazil, does to your liver and kidneys simultaneously. Before we reveal the third name, which is incredibly common in Brazilian homes, I want to take a quick moment for a vital invitation. If this information is opening your eyes to dangers you were unaware of, click the subscribe button right now to protect your health in old age. By doing so, you ensure that the algorithm understands that protecting your kidneys is a priority and you continue to receive our medical alerts. That said, let's move on to item number 3, nimesulide. This medication is a true sales phenomenon in Brazil, being the first choice for many people for sore throats, toothaches, or sudden fevers, but its popularity hides a dark secret that health authorities in other countries have long since discovered. Nimesulide is so aggressive that it has been banned in several developed nations due to its high liver toxicity. That is, it violently attacks the liver, but what few people mention is that it also damages the kidneys through an intense overload of filtration. The danger of nimesulide lies in its excessive potency for a senior organism. It demands a Herculean effort from the kidneys to be metabolized and excreted, generating oxidative stress that can accelerate the degradation of remaining nephrons. For the elderly, the use of this medication must be approached with extreme rigor. The golden rule, if prescribed by a doctor, is never to use it for more than 3 consecutive days. Exceeding this limit enters a risk zone where cell damage becomes likely, and the benefit of relieving throat pain does not outweigh the cost of damaging 2 vital organs simultaneously. It is a medication that works quickly, but is expensive, and you need the discipline to stop using it as soon as the pain decreases, never continuing as a precaution. But if nimesulide is the explosive and rapid danger, the next item on the list is the enemy that tires your kidneys through prolonged exhaustion. We've reached item 4, naproxen. This anti-inflammatory drug has gained much fame and preference in doctors' offices for being considered heart-friendly, presenting fewer cardiovascular risks than diclofenac, for example. Because of this reputation for heart safety, many elderly people believe it is safe for the whole body and end up using it freely. But here's the trap. For your kidneys, it is as harmful as any other on the list, with a dangerous physiological aggravating factor. Naproxen doesn't distinguish between the heart and the kidney. It protects one while attacking the other, maintaining the blockade of prostaglandins and the consequent lack of renal blood supply, creating a false sense of security while the renal tissue suffers silently. The mechanism that makes naproxen especially treacherous for those over 60 is its long half-life in the body. Unlike medications that are eliminated in a few hours, naproxen remains circulating and acting in your blood for much longer, meaning your kidneys are under the effect of vasoconstriction, that tight hose that cuts off the blood, for extended periods. A single pill keeps the kidney under prolonged stress, preventing the recovery of normal blood flow between doses, and this, repeated day after day, leads to chronic kidney failure due to continuous ischemia. It is vital to understand that safe for the heart does not mean harmless for the kidneys. And this concept of partial safety leads us directly to item number 5, which is not just a medication, but a combination error that doctors call a triple whammy, and that can acutely paralyze your kidneys. Now, we arrive at the most critical and dangerous point of this entire video, item number 5, which technically isn't an isolated bottle, but rather a very serious behavioral error that medicine calls triple whammy. Most people over 50 already use medication continuously to control high blood pressure, and this is precisely where the deadly danger lies. Mixing these routine medications with common anti-inflammatories for occasional pain. This combination is a silent time bomb because you are combining 3 mechanisms that individually your kidneys might tolerate, but which, when acting together, create a perfect storm capable of paralyzing kidney function acutely and suddenly, sending stable patients directly to the emergency room. This isn't about accumulated toxicity over years, but about mechanical and hydraulic failure that can happen in a matter of days or weeks, transforming the treatment of your high blood pressure into a scenario of organ collapse. To help you visualize and never forget, imagine your kidney functioning like a water tank that needs pressure to filter. The first blow comes from the diuretic, like hydrochlorothiazide, which dries up the system by reducing blood volume. The second blow comes from the blood pressure medication, like losartan or enalapril, which relaxes the kidney's outflow vessel to lower systemic pressure. When you, on your own, add the third element, the anti-inflammatory drug, NSAID, it closes the entrance door of blood into the kidney. The result of this disastrous engineering is that the kidney is left without blood entering, with the outflow wide open and with little circulating volume. The filtration pressure drops to 0 instantly, the organ collapses due to lack of perfusion and stops producing urine. It's like switching off the main switch of a complex machine. Toxins and potassium begin to rise rapidly in the blood, creating a real risk of cardiac arrest. Understanding this is vital, as acute kidney failure caused by this triad is one of the most dramatic and preventable situations we see in hospitals. The patient arrives swollen, confused, and intoxicated, often unaware that the knee pain pill they took along with their blood pressure medication triggered the catastrophe. If you are already using medications from the ACE inhibitor class, ending in ipril, or angiotensin receptor blockers, ending in isartan. In addition to any diuretic, your kidneys are already working in a delicate and induced balance. Introducing diclofenac or ibuprofen into this equation is to violently disrupt this balance. The medical advice here is non-negotiable. If you are treating your blood pressure, self-medication with anti-inflammatories is strictly prohibited without the express and monitored authorization of your cardiologist or nephrologist. The practical instruction to protect your life is simple. Check your daily medicine cabinet right now. If you find names like losartan, enalapril, captopril, valsartan, combined with hydrochlorothiazide, indapamide, or furosemide, raise a red flag for any of the pain medications we mentioned earlier. You can't afford to take risks, as the margin for error is minimal. But I know what you're thinking now. Doctor, if I can't take these medications and I'm in pain, what's left for me? Am I forced to suffer? The answer is a resounding no. You don't have to live with pain. You just need to know how to choose the right weapon. From now on, we're going to turn the key from fear to hope, because there are safe and potent alternatives that treat inflammation without destroying your vital filter. And that's exactly what I'm going to teach you next. The good news I bring now is liberating. Protecting your kidneys doesn't mean condemning yourself to live with pain, but rather learning to negotiate with your body using strategies that treat the symptom without exacting an exorbitant biological price. The first fundamental change in your toolbox against pain is knowing how to differentiate simple analgesics from dangerous anti-inflammatories, always opting for pharmacological safety first. Medications like dipyrone and paracetamol, when used in the correct dosages and respecting the prescribed intervals, are infinitely safer for kidney health than any name on the previous list. They act on the pain centers of the brain and do not block the production of prostaglandins in the kidneys. In other words, they relieve suffering without shutting off the blood supply to your vital organ. It is clear that paracetamol requires caution regarding the liver at high doses, but for renal or elderly patients, it and dipyrone represent a middle ground. Effective control of acute pain without the risk of sudden renal failure, allowing you to get through crises with peace of mind. Beyond medication, we need to look to nature and intelligent supplementation, attacking inflammation at its root and not just masking the symptom. Turmeric, especially when combined with black pepper for absorption, has proven in several studies to be a potent natural anti-inflammatory, capable of modulating chronic joint pain with surprising effectiveness and zero renal toxicity. Another powerful ally is magnesium, whether dimolate or chloride, which acts by relaxing tense muscles, preventing cramps and improving nerve conduction, treating pains that are often mistaken for serious problems but are simply mineral deficiencies. By introducing these elements into your routine, you begin to treat the cause of inflammation systemically and nutritively, strengthening your body instead of chemically harming it, transforming pain management into an act of nutrition and care. We also cannot forget physical and mechanical therapies, which are true antidotes to the logic of the magic pill and work by bringing life back to the tissues. The use of local heat, with hot water bottles or warm compresses on the lower back or painful joints, does the exact opposite of what dangerous medications do. Heat causes vasodilation, opening blood vessels, bringing more blood, oxygen and relaxation to the affected area. In addition to this, physiotherapy and guided movement are essential. A stagnant joint becomes stiff and hurts more. Strengthening the muscles that support your knee or spine takes the load off the joint and reduces the need for medication. Remember also the topical therapies I mentioned at the beginning. Anti-inflammatory patches and ointments act locally and spare your stomach and kidneys from heavy systemic absorption. By adopting this arsenal of protection, safe painkillers, natural supplements, warmth and movement, you regain control of your life and escape being held hostage by the pharmacy. This change in mindset is what separates the senior citizen who ages with vitality from the one who spends their old age in hospital waiting rooms, treating complications that could have been avoided. You don't have to endure the pain. You just need to be smarter than it, choosing battles you can win without destroying your own army, which are your vital organs. Now that you have the map of what to avoid and what to do, let's consolidate all of this to ensure that you leave this video not only informed, but transformed and ready to act. We've reached the end of this journey of knowledge, and now you possess something most people your age don't: a precise awareness of what's happening inside your body every time you swallow a painkiller. Together, we've debunked the false innocence of ibuprofen, the aggressiveness of diclofenac, the liver and kidney dangers of nimesulide, the illusion of safety of naproxen, and most importantly, the deadly trap of combining anti-inflammatories with your blood pressure medication. You understand that your kidney health isn't just a medical detail, but the central pillar that sustains your independence. Without preserved kidney function, the freedom to come and go, to travel, and to enjoy your family is tied to a rigid and exhausting hospital schedule. Now, the responsibility of using this information to protect your future rests entirely in your hands, and I fully believe you are capable of making the right choices. I know that changing old habits is difficult, and that pain often pushes us towards the quickest and easiest solution, but I want you to visualize the long-term scenario. Swapping the immediate relief of a dangerous anti-inflammatory for a safe strategy of local heat. Dipyrone or turmeric may seem laborious at first, but it's this small effort that ensures you remain in control of your own life 5 or 10 years from now. Always remember the image of the coffee filter. It has worked for many decades and deserves to be treated gently, not with chemical aggression. Every time you choose not to take an unnecessary NSAID, you are literally saving thousands of nephrons and buying yourself more quality time and vitality. The practical application of everything we've seen today begins now. As soon as this video ends, I want to invite you to go to your home medicine cabinet, that little box or drawer where you keep your medications, and conduct a thorough audit with the eyes of someone who now knows the truth. Separate the anti-inflammatory drugs we mentioned, check the package inserts, and, if possible, talk to your doctor about replacing or eliminating them from your routine, leaving available only the safe options that don't harm your immune system. This simple act of organizing your drawer is a powerful step in self-care and self-love, a declaration that you value your health more than the convenience of a magic pill that charges too high interest. Besides taking care of yourself, you now have a mission of collective protection. Think about that stubborn friend, neighbor, or relative who keeps taking medication for joint pain without a prescription and complains of swelling or high blood pressure. That person may be heading towards hemodialysis without knowing it. Share this video with them right now. Send it to the family group on WhatsApp, because information saves lives, and you can be the messenger who prevents someone you love from suffering irreversible consequences due to a lack of warning. I want to conclude by reinforcing that your kidney health is a valuable passport to a free and independent old age, and preserving it should be your absolute priority. Stay well hydrated, as water is the best natural remedy for the kidneys. Keep your blood pressure under control and never ever underestimate the destructive power of medication taken without guidance. If you've watched this far and are committed to protecting your kidneys, leave a comment below saying, "I'm going to review my medicine cabinet today." I read and respond to as many comments as possible, and I want to see who the health warriors are who are with me on this mission. Finally, if this content brought clarity and value to your life, please Check if you are already subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on. My mission here is to be the doctor who tells you the truth and protects you from the pitfalls of modern medicine, translating complicated science into practical health for your daily life. Thank you so much for following me this far. Take good care of your precious filter, drink water, and until our next video. It is crucial to emphasize that although all the information presented here is rigorously based on scientific evidence and serious medical studies on nephrology and geriatrics, this video is exclusively educational and informative in nature, and in no way replaces an in-person consultation with your trusted doctor. Each organism is a unique and complex universe, and although the general rules about the dangers of anti-inflammatory drugs apply to the vast majority of people over 60, only a professional who knows your complete history, your creatinine tests, and your detailed clinical picture can safely discontinue or prescribe medications. Never use the internet to self-diagnose or to start complex treatments without supervision. Use this knowledge acquired today to arrive at the doctor's office prepared to have a high-level conversation with your doctor, asking intelligent questions, questioning old prescriptions, and seeking safer alternatives together. We are partners in your health education, but your doctor remains the irreplaceable commander of your treatment. Finally, I want to issue a warning of extreme importance and responsibility regarding the continuous use medications mentioned during the explanation of the triple whammy. While we strongly recommend caution and discontinuing the indiscriminate use of over-the-counter anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen and diclofenac, you should never, under any circumstances, stop taking your prescribed medications for blood pressure, diabetes, or heart problems on your own. Abruptly stopping a diuretic or prescribed antihypertensive can cause a dangerous rebound effect and be as fatal as the kidney problem we are trying to prevent with this video. The central objective of this content is to help you eliminate unnecessary self-medication for occasional pain, not to disrupt the chronic treatments that maintain your vital stability. Review your pain pills, rigorously maintain your prescribed maintenance medication, and seek immediate professional guidance to address any remaining questions. Your health is an invaluable asset that demands wisdom, balance, and responsibility in every decision made.